Do you know what carries an anime? No, it's not the animation, not the soundtrack, nor is it the plot. Yeah, these are all important, like if you mess one of these up, you might actually end up ruining the anime. Like, look at the beginning after the end. It's not even worth calling it mid, but all that aside, for me, the most important thing in an anime is to have a good main character. And while goofy, dumb main characters are funny and great to watch, it doesn't come close to a main character who actually uses his brain. So today, I have the top 10 anime that have intelligent main characters, and without further delay, let's dive on in. To start, we have The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt, an anime that seamlessly blends fantasy and political intrigue, including humor. The show is set in a medieval fantasy world, and the show takes viewers on an enthralling journey of political maneuverings, strategic planning, and the quest for a brighter future. And let's talk about the main character. This guy is basically the exact opposite of almost every fantasy hero out there. His entire character is built around trying to avoid responsibility, only for fate to turn him into the most competent ruler in history. His intelligence is strategic rather than scientific. Every time he schemes to lose, he somehow makes his kingdom stronger. Every time he wants to run away, he ends up inspiring loyalty. It's a masterclass in accidental greatness, where his plans to offload responsibility only deepens his involvement. One of the most impressive aspects of this anime is its rich and intricate world building, the political landscape, complete with different factions and power struggles, adding depth to the story and is enough to keep you engaged throughout. Then up next at number 9, we have Aldderine in the Sky. When I first saw this anime, I thought this was a more recent one, but then I found out that it was released 9 freaking years ago. And that's pretty insane. With the quality it has, I would have thought that it was released just maybe even a year ago. The main character is the kind of guy who would rather take a nap than rule a country, yet somehow he ends up leading armies. War is too much work, politics is just boring, and yet Ikta is the best strategist in the entire show. His tactics aren't flashy, they're just efficient. He turns his enemy's strength into a liability, exploits every weakness, and somehow pulls off impossible victories while looking like he barely broke a sweat. Watching him balance his leave-me-alone attitude with his god-tier tactical mind is both hilarious and impressive. But with all that said, this isn't an overly impressive anime by any means, but it is enjoyable for what it is. It is a military strategy-themed anime that focuses on the cruel reality of war, politics, and how our main character makes his legend by displaying his superb talents as a strategist. Up next at number 8, we have The World God Only Knows. Hey, we've got ourselves a harem anime on this list. It does prove that you do need to be smart to make multiple chicks fall for you. Here, this guy isn't your typical harem main character. He doesn't stumble into romance, he calculates it like a speedrunner breaking a game. This guy doesn't believe in love, he believes in patterns, algorithms, and exploits. When demons force him to make real girls fall in love with him, he doesn't panic. He just applies visual novel logic to real life, and it works. He breaks down romance into formulas, predicts behaviors like he's writing the script, and executes love confessions with robotic precision. But you know what's the best part is? He's a freaking otaku. He hates the real world. He wants to go back to his perfect 2D waifus, yet his genius forces him to succeed in the 3D world. Watching him begrudgingly conquer hearts with Eren Yeager level planning is both hilarious and weirdly impressive. Wait, Eren didn't get to clap any cheeks though. Anyways, it's a good show, you should go watch it. Then at number 7, we have Genketsu, the Count of Monte Cristo. Now I have no idea why this anime is so underrated. This anime is practically near perfection. The amount of people who overlook this anime, listen, it's just insane. But here, the main character isn't just smart, he's intelligent at a cosmic level. Imagine if Aizen decided to take revenge, but instead of using illusions, he used insane amounts of money, power, and long-term manipulation. That is the Count of Monte Cristo in Genketsu. This isn't a story about a man seeking revenge with brute force, it's about a man rebuilding his identity from scratch, weaving a web so intricate that by the time his enemies realize they're trapped, it's already over. Every move he makes is planned decades in advance. Every betrayal, every financial collapse, every ruined reputation. It's all part of his masterpiece of vengeance. And the way Genketsu presents it is just pure style. The art is like a fever dream, blending surreal patterns and vivid colors into a world that feels almost alien. But under all that visual flair is a chess master, orchestrating the downfall of an entire elite class. So if you haven't watched this show already, please do me the favor and watch it. After that, at number 6, we have Arti, the Patriot. Now, before watching this anime, I never knew Sherlock Holmes and anime could go so well together. So basically, this show is what happens when the villain is the protagonist, but you still root for him. And this guy, Moriarty, isn't just smart, he's revolutionary. Instead of solving crimes, he's engineering them to break the corrupt system of Victorian England. He doesn't just outthink his enemies, he designs scenarios where the only possible outcome is him winning. Every murder, every rebellion, every shift in society is a move in his grand chess game. And the best part is that he's so damn classy about it. If Light Yagami had this guy's finesse, Death Note would have been over in 10 episodes. Overall, this is a really fun anime. If you're a big fan of Sherlock Holmes, you shouldn't even think about missing this one. Even if you don't like Sherlock Holmes, you should check it out. And up next at number 5, we have The Great Pretender, a show about con artists. So what do you expect except characters that are smart as hell, huh? And the brilliance of The Great Pretender isn't just in its stylish animation or its globe-trotting heists, it's in how the main character plays everyone, including the audience. Do you think you know where a scam is going? No. Do you think the stakes are clear? Guess again. Even when it looks like he's losing, that's just another layer of the trick. Laurent operates on Eisen-level deception, but instead of taking over the world, he's just here to get rich and have a good time. Idamame, sorry if I butchered that, is technically the protagonist, but let's be real, Laurent is the real mastermind. Watching him flip every bad situation into a perfect win is like seeing L solving a case before the crime even happens. Overall, this anime is an enjoyable show with a premise that doesn't confine itself to a single genre. This multifaceted storyline depicted through awesome visuals and an incredible soundtrack unravels seamlessly before the viewer. The Great Pretender has all the makings of a binge-worthy show nonetheless. And I know a lot of you will call it style over substance, but I don't care. After that, at number 4, we have One Outs. So here we basically have a gambler who decided to play baseball, and that's pretty much One Outs in a nutshell. The main character is less of a pitcher and more of a con artist who just happens to throw baseballs. His entire strategy revolves around psychological warfare, making his opponents fold under pressure. This dude doesn't win because he throws fastballs, he wins because he convinces hitters they can't hit. Every episode is a masterclass in manipulation. And watching him outplay opponents is more satisfying than watching a shonen hero unlock a new power-up. Nothing ever phases him. Even if the situation is looking extremely bad, he still remains cold and calculating, soon to be delivering his new plan that will eliminate all his obstacles. The thing is that the other characters are not even half as interesting. They are either tools for him to use or obstacles for him to completely destroy using these tools, and that's pretty much it. Even though that makes the show a little basic and one-dimensional, it doesn't really matter seeing how the point of the show is watching when the main character kicks butt. And even if you don't watch baseball, this show will still be enjoyable. Then at the third spot of today's list, we have The Promised Neverland. What happens when you turn a show about kids living peacefully in an orphanage into a survival battle against monsters? Well, this show is exactly that. The kids aren't just trying to escape an orphanage, they're outsmarting a literal demon-run child farm. Norman is the closest thing to a mastermind, making him the Lelouch of this horror-driven chessboard. He calculates escape plans like they're grand war strategies, and every move he makes is designed to manipulate both allies and enemies. Ray, on the other hand, is the brutal realist, playing the role of the edgy genius who always has a backup. Meanwhile, Emma is the shonen hero energy, keeping them from all turning into lightless tacticians like Joan. The first season of the show is probably one of the best thrillers I've ever watched. And all this just to be butchered in the second season, but we don't talk about that one. I personally prefer Heavenly Delusion more than this. Hey, speaking of that, where the hell is that second season, anywho? Anyways, those who have no idea about Promised Neverland, go watch the first season, then read the manga. Then at the second spot of today's list, we have Monster. This is probably one of my all-time favorites. I'm sorry if I start glazing it a bit much, and I'll try not to dive too deep into the plot because that will just ruin your watching experience. So as the main lead of the show, we have Dr. Tenma, a genius, but the problem is that this guy is way too nice. Which sounds nice, but that doesn't do him any good when facing a complete psychopath. This man saves a kid's life only for that kid to grow up and become a full-blown nightmare. And the Joanne Liebert, the true star of Monster, arguably one of the most terrifyingly intelligent villains in all of anime's history, this guy doesn't just manipulate people, he recreates them. He can make a grown man believe he never existed. He walks into a room, says a few words, suddenly lifelong loyalties collapse. The real monster here isn't supernatural, he's just too smart. Meanwhile, poor Tenma is running around Europe trying to stop him, like a detective who refuses to accept that the villain is always 10 steps ahead. This isn't just an anime, it's a psychological labyrinth, and Joanne is the master pulling every string. If you haven't seen this one, drop everything, go watch it right now. But at the top spot of today's list, we have SteinsGate. So here we have the mad scientist who actually knows science. The main character here is the self-proclaimed mad scientist, and other anime protagonists who struggle for power. This guy literally invents time travel by accident. And when time starts breaking around him, he doesn't power up or get a magical solution. No, he suffers. He fails. He is broken down several times trying to undo the consequences of playing God. Yet he still fights on, calculating every possible timeline like a desperate gambler trying to cheat fate. He's not the smartest person in the room because that's definitely the girl, but he's the one who figures it out first. Watching him go from an eccentric goofball to a broken, calculated mastermind is peak storytelling. To be honest, the subject of time travel is no stranger to the world of anime, so it takes a lot of work to make a time travel story stand out. For SteinsGate, that hard work paid off. And this is by far the best executed time travel story that I've ever seen in my experience with anime. And if you haven't seen it yet, you're definitely missing out. And that's the list for today, guys. If you're able to make it this far, please be sure to comment down below on which anime you think should have been on this list. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press that bell icon. It set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.